Hey everybody, I'm OSCILLATR, and today we're going to improvise a lo-fi beat. So we're going to use live looping in Ableton using sounds from arcade to create a beat on the fly and record it live. I will also show you how to set up record quantization, MIDI overdub, session recording, recording in automation, and creating variations using scenes. Let's get into it. First thing you want to do is make sure that MIDI overdub is enabled. That's this plus sign here in the top of the transport. Make sure that's yellow. What that does is that as you're looping, it allows you to add new MIDI notes rather than writing over the MIDI notes that were already there. Next, let's set up record quantization. This is in the edit menu. If you go down to record quantization, it's by default set to no. For this, what I would maybe do is set it to like 8th note quantization. What record quantization does is automatically quantize those MIDI notes, so you don't have to go in with your mouse and click and quantize the MIDI notes. Now on the push, I'm going to set up the fixed length recording. This gives me 2 bars of looped recording. You don't have to do it, but I think this is kind of helpful for just jamming. Now instead of using arrangement record, we're going to use the session record button, which is this sort of open circle. We can toggle that on and off to create looped recording. So it's going to just be playing this 2-bar loop, and when we want to record, we can hit this or this button on the push. Now it's like enabled recording. Now we're all set up. Let's open up Arcade. I'm going to use this floaty puff kit, and let's record something in. So as you can hear, although I didn't hit the notes exactly right on the downbeat, the record quantization quantized it for me automatically. Great. Now that session record is off, I can play around with some of the other keys and add some elements, and then when I like it, I can record them in. Maybe this at the end. Maybe just get this added. And now I can also play around with some of these macro controls, and we can even automate them using the push as well. So when you click on this, this pops up now in the top of the push, and this controller now controls that slider, which is really fun. If you want to automate that in, make sure that this automation button is selected red, and then hit record. We can duplicate this cell down to the next scene, and it's exactly the same, but maybe on that second cell, we can go inside the MIDI and just delete the kick and snare. And now when we go down to the next scene, we've taken out the kick and snare, and we can bring it back in at the end of the loop. So that's a fun way to sort of build a jam like that. Now, where you can really get some secret sauce here is duplicating the entire track. Go to the second track and try playing around with different kits using this MIDI that you just programmed in and see how it sounds. It's the same exact MIDI, but because it's a different kit, it sounds different. What I like about Arcade too is that you can sort of work within the same line, but with different kits, and that gives you like a different variation, but you're still staying like in the sort of same sonic world or feeling personality. Let's try another kit, maybe the Stratos kit. And just like that, I am well on my way to having a finished beat using Arcade for inspiration and improvisation. Committing to ideas while you're in the flow can leave you with a finished track in no time at all. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.